How are you today?
Pretty good, man. It wasn't so good
Pretty good?
about an hour ago. Waking up when it's 20 degrees out.
Well, what are you going to do when winter comes?
Yeah, it's winter's here, man. I'm trying to goad spring along.
No, you can't rush the process. You got to follow the process.
Trust the process.
It's cold outside. It's winter time. What do you expect? You see kids outside walking around without jackets on and stuff. I'm like, what are you going to do? It's cold out, dude. You got to be prepared.
Then we'll be crying in July when it's 98 degrees.
Yeah, I'm done with that. I don't cry anymore. I'm used to it at this point.
Perfect day for me is 65 and cloudy. Hey,
What's going on,
I'm Irish. I got to worry about the sunburn,
Oh man.
Nothing, man. We're just trying to get through another weekend here, getting ready for Super Bowl. What's your go-to Super Bowl appetizer?
My go-to Super Bowl appetizer. Let's see. Probably at this point in time, we'll go with some wings, but they're I don't know if I should have named the establishment, but it's a well-known establishment throughout the South Jersey area with many locations. So we'll go with the wings. I like the wings on the Super Bowl Sunday.
I would have thought you'd be one of those guys who goes with one of these modern type appetizers, hummus or something like that.
Sully, I'm old school.
You're old school.
Hummus has never crossed my lips.
You're a meat and potatoes guy?
There you go.
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Cole went with the pigs in a blanket, which is you can't go wrong with those.
No, usually somebody usually has those. So but we'll see what happens. Hopefully,
you got to have your limit on those, man. That's heartburn waiting to happen right there.
We'll be all right.
So what's going on with high school hoops? Fill us in here. I was at the Battle by the Bay last night. St. Augustine with a huge win over Atlantic City. They really kind of established themselves as the top team. I mean, I guess there's some teams up your way in the Cherry Hill area that could compete with these guys, but they're off to a 17-0 start.
Yeah, no surprise there, to be quite honest with you. And, we kind of thought the Prep was going to be the number one team coming in with everything they had coming back. And, it was just a matter of them kind of seeing what was going to happen with the point guard spot. And I think Austin Kennedy's done a very good job with them so far, through these first 17 games. And, and the thing was, I think, too, a lot of people thought Justin Mutz was going to be maybe a bigger factor offensively as far as points are concerned, but he's obviously shown that he has a much more well-rounded game than maybe we gave him credit for. And, he's as much of a defensive presence as he is an offensive presence, and just blocking shots. He hasn't had to score for them, and that's a good thing because they have such balance with a couple of other guys being able to put the ball in the basket. So, he's made obviously, I think this season he's made his biggest impact defensively, not only blocking shots but altering shots and just being a presence in the paint. So, obviously the Prep is on a roll, and I don't see them at this point in time losing a game. They could be a team that finishes the season if they lose a game, I think it's going to be one loss. So, they're just on a roll right now. I think that they're starting to, if a 17-0 team can start to come together, this is that team. They're all on all cylinders right now and playing real well. And they're going to get a test. I think they're going to get a test next week when they play Camden. They'll play Camden. I believe it is at the Paul Six Winter Classic next Saturday. I'm pretty certain it's the showcase game of the day on Saturday, right in the middle of the day, somewhere around 2 or 3 o'clock. And I think the way Camden's been playing right now, and the athletes that Camden has, that matchup could probably be the Prep's biggest test, at least against the South Jersey team right now.
And then you always have that CBA team lurking in the playoffs. So we're going to get a look at them tonight against Wildwood Catholic at the Battle by the Bay. That's always a great private school rivalry when you talk about the Colts and the Hermits.
Yeah, if memory serves me right, I think the Prep went in there and blew the doors off them in the tournament last year. So, it's a team. I'm to be quite honest with you, I don't know how they're doing this year, but clearly based on tradition. It's obviously a team that they will not take lightly, and they'll come out and have to play their hardest against.
Talking with Kevin Minnick of the Courier-Post. Kevin, anybody up your way in that Cherry Hill area, and even down into Gloucester, really getting hot at the right time?
Well, you got it's kind of been the same teams all season long. Those that have played well all season have maintained that. You look at a team, a Bishop Eustace team is right now sitting at 14-2. They're playing extremely well. Camden, they've got 2 losses. They're playing. They've got some athletes, and they've kind of overcome the loss of Corey Greer. They could use his presence as the point guard position, but John Evans, a 4-year player, has really come on strong for them to kind of fill in that role a little bit. A sophomore, Ethan Tart's done a nice job with them, and they've got some big guys inside, especially at this point. Miles Thompson has really played extremely well and seems to kind of maybe be the go-to guy for them right now. And then, it's like we talk about pretty much every week. It's the usual suspects. Shawnee, Lenape, Cherokee right now is won 10 straight. So we're looking at, in the northern part of South Jersey right now. That's a team. They're the teams right now that they're the bigger school teams, but they're the ones that are clearly, I think, a step ahead of everybody else. And you move down a little bit, a notch down. You still have a Highland team who's 14-3 right now. Dante Messino, a junior forward, has been out for the last 4 or 5 games with a pretty bad ankle injury, but he should be back for the tournament, if not a little sooner, to really add some more stability to that team in Group 3. And I think a team in Group 3 that will be a dangerous team in the tournament, although they've really, really struggled in this first half, is Timber Creek. I think they lost 6, 7, 8 in a row. But, they're going to get in the tournament as a lower seed. And, with Maurice Murray, about 6'5", junior swingman, he's obviously one of the best players in South Jersey. When the tournament comes rolling around, they should be a little bit better, and they should be ready for the competition. But, like I said, it's the usual suspects. It's the usual teams year in and year out. There's not really right now a team out there that's really surprised me with what they've been able to do. But it's we're in February now, so it's getting down to crunch time, and we'll start to separate as we say, the pretenders and the contenders.
Yeah, Timber Creek's one of those teams. You get that 4 or 5 seed or somewhere in that range, and you look at the schedule and you see Timber Creek, and you're like, oh boy, this isn't going to be an easy first round game.
Yeah, they lost 8 straight. They started out 6-2, and then they lost 8 straight, and most of those games were not comfortable losses. A couple 1-point losses. They lost to Eastern by 1. They lost to Winslow by 1, but they've had a couple other losses where they've lost by 10, 12 points. So, they've had their struggles, but I think that's a dangerous tournament team when you're looking at a team that's going to come in as one of the lower seeds.
How about a team like Eastern? They've been playing some pretty good basketball in stretches. Is that a team that can maybe make some noise in the tournament?
Eastern's a team that you got to catch them. You got to catch them on the right day. They're right now 9-9, and they've had stretches where they won maybe 2 or 3 in a row. Then they drop 1, win 1, lose 2 or 3. But the thing with Eastern is, at 9-9, you kind of look at who they played, and they have played the top teams in South Jersey. The Olympic American will set them up for 8 really tough games, and then their crossovers are not easy as well. So, that's a team, and another team that is not going to have. You're going to think of Eastern being one of the stronger teams in Group 4. But given I think the teams that they've played and the battles that they've gone through, when the tournament comes, they're very, very capable of making a run, simply based on the experience they've had against some of these better teams in South Jersey. But on the flip side, they're very capable of throwing up a bad game and being out in the first round. So they're a team, they're really kind of hard to gauge because they've been so. I want to say inconsistent, but I also look at the quality of the competition that they're playing. So, they're obviously a team that I think come tournament time, looking at the if they get the decent matchups, they could make a little bit of a run.
Talk with Kevin Minnick of the Courier-Post. Kevin, before we let you go, I want to talk a little bit briefly about signing day. A lot of excitement around Rutgers. I know they had a tough season this past fall, but they've got some real good recruits coming in. They got that Cedar Creek pipeline going. Also picked up Jonathan Lewis, great quarterback out of North Jersey, and a late get with Eddie Lewis out of Mater Dei, who's a really nice athlete at wide receiver. So a lot to be excited about for Rutgers fans.
Yeah, I think that the MO for Rutgers is to, with Coach Ash is to try to keep these better Jersey kids home and see what they can do. Right now they haven't done. To be quite honest with you, they haven't done anything. And these Jersey kids that have stayed there, while they are, up the Turnpike or the Parkway, around the corner, they haven't done anything yet. So we'll see what this next recruiting class can do. And obviously they have some talented players, but it's not. These kids can be as talented as they want to be, but when it comes time to putting them 11 on the field at the same time and working as a unit, they've got to get the job done, and we'll see what happens with that. Obviously, there's some talent there. Like you said, the kids from Cedar Creek are there. Duop Mitchell will be there for one season. We'll see what he might be able to do to help them out. But they need to start to win some games and to start to build some momentum so that they can continue to keep the kids, the better kids in the state, at that university.
Yeah, we talked to Tyler Donahue in the previous hour with Bleacher Report, and are you surprised at how this whole signing day has evolved over the last couple of years? I mean, you're talking about all these crazy videos and everything else. I mean, it's become such a big part of high school football, almost how the NFL is in April and May with the draft and all that stuff. This is kind of that off-season big push for high school football in early February.
Yeah, to be quite honest with you, the day itself, to me, it's almost inconsequential because very rarely anymore do we have kids making their decision on signing day.
Right.
The last time that I can remember a really, the one that really jumps out at me and will always jump out at me was back several years now when a Khalil Gloud out of Winslow held his ceremony on a snowy morning and literally flipped a coin to determine whether he's going to Rutgers or West Virginia.
Wow.
And I was there for that, had a nice picture, with him with the quarter and the whole bit. And that story kind of blew up. And, for us, it blew up and it went national. And, it really generated a lot of, interest on the web. But nowadays, a lot of these kids are making these early verbal commitments, and most of them are sticking with those commitments. And even if they decommit, they're committing again before signing day. So signing day is more or less a formality at this point.
Right.
You put the hat on, you get the picture with the signing the national letter of intent, and signed, sealed, and delivered. It's not really a story anymore. Signing day itself, except for when these, the analysts, guys like Tyler, will start to break down. Now we can officially say, okay, X, Y, and Z are at Rutgers. So now we can say, okay, what are they? What can they do? What are they going to do? What is this class capable of? But the day itself, in all honesty, it's a nice opportunity for a ceremony at each school, make everything official. But I would really love to have it be a day where there was some excited anticipation as to where somebody's going to go, and that just hasn't happened around here for a little while. So, but like I said, it's a big day for everybody, and it shouldn't be taken. The glory shouldn't be taken away from these kids. They've obviously worked hard to get to this point, and they're living in the moment, and it's a great opportunity for the schools and the parents and such to kind of enjoy the day and see that the kind of dreams have been fulfilled.
Good stuff as always, Kevin. We're up against the break. Got to let you go, but enjoy the rest of the weekend and have fun at your Super Bowl.
All right, so you too. Don't eat too many of those kale salads you might be having on your docket.
Nah, man, none of that stuff for me.
Hey, have a good weekend.
All right, man. Thanks, bud. That was Kevin Minnick of the Courier-Post.